Right now at 5, the Kansas Bureau of Investigation comes to Southeast Kansas to investigate the death of a man.
We've got a chilly start for us so far this morning, but a pretty nice day lined up. We're going to take a look at your forecast coming up.
And firefighters battle an early AM fire in Carthage, Missouri.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So we're back to Monday. Yeah, time to moan a little bit about Monday, but that's all right because after today, we're back on that downhill run to Friday.
There we go.
We can just get through today. Did you have a good weekend?
I did.
Good. Anything exciting?
My middle son turned 10 years old.
All right. Well, happy birthday.
Took him to Soar Trampoline Park in Joplin yesterday.
Man, that's a good place for me to try and get in shape. I should probably go back a little more often. Well, and if you enjoy getting outdoors to get in shape, maybe even for a morning jog or something like that, the next few days are going to be pretty decent for that. And we are a little chilly this morning across the region. MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line, looking good so far. But again, a bit of a cool start for us today. We are sitting at 39 in Joplin with a calm breeze out there under clear skies, but those clear skies will be a little cloudier later in the day. We got 37 in Iola, Parsons, Chetopa, Miami, 44 in Neosho, 38 in Carthage as we start our Monday. As we go through the morning, those clouds will begin to increase throughout the first half of our morning. It'll be mostly cloudy by about 11 o'clock, looking at 56 though, so you can see temperatures warm up quickly and quite nicely, and they're not done warming yet. We're actually looking at a high right around 64 degrees. We're going to see, again, mostly cloudy skies, a few peaks of sunshine out there, and that'll allow us to warm up pretty decently as we go through the morning. And as we head into this evening, we'll eventually drop back down to 40, but it's a slow drop to get there. Mostly cloudy skies, so it kind of acts like a blanket, keeps us warmer a little longer, down to 50 by 10 o'clock. Now, there's a couple of changes coming. One, we're going to have calm winds throughout today, but as we head into tomorrow, we'll start to see wind gusts increasing in that 20 to 30 mile an hour range. We go into late tomorrow night, we're looking at wind gusts up to maybe 40 miles an hour out there, and that'll continue as we head into our Wednesday, even into the Wednesday afternoon. Some of us, because here's this frontal boundary, it's going to be bringing us our next chance of showers and thunderstorms. Ahead of it, still some gusty winds, and even behind of it, still some fairly gusty winds out there, so do be aware of that over the next couple of days. Again, through today, we're just going to be mostly cloudy, and we're going to see pretty much the same situation tomorrow. Still a pretty mild day, otherwise mostly cloudy skies. It won't be until Wednesday morning we start to see some showers and maybe even a few thunderstorms out there start to fire up, and those will persist through the morning hours and into the early afternoon and evening hours. Still a few scattered showers and thunderstorms. Now, initially, we'll still be pretty warm, but then as that system rolls on through, our temperatures will begin to drop back behind that, and we're talking it's going to get pretty darn chilly. We can show you real quick on the 7-day what's going to happen after Wednesday. So we're up to 63 tomorrow, 68 Wednesday, then we get down to 34 Wednesday night and only 48 Thursday, but this little dip in temperatures is brief as we head into this upcoming weekend. We see more rain chances, but temperatures back on the upswing again. Just a reminder, we're getting closer to spring. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Authorities charged 2 Missouri men in connection to the death of a missing woman. Sean Wickstrom of Stockton and Christopher Appleby of El Dorado Springs are charged with first-degree involuntary manslaughter, evidence of tampering, and abandonment of a corpse. This comes after Ginger Lynn Shoemaker went missing several weeks ago. Authorities found her body on February 8th in a rural part of Cedar County. Investigators were able to recover the body. There is still no word yet on the cause of death. A late Saturday night crash in Greene County takes the life of a Willard, Missouri woman. At about 11:37 Saturday night, a 2010 Toyota Prius driven by Bailey Collins ran off of Route Z 2 miles north of Willard. The car then struck a tree, overturned, and caught fire. Bailey was pronounced deceased at the scene. Firefighters battle an early morning blaze in Carthage, Missouri. The fire was around 1:30 a.m. Saturday morning at 410 Cedar Street. At first report, there were flames and smoke from the second floor of a wood-framed house. Just minutes later, the second floor became fully engulfed in flames. Authorities blocked area roads to contain the fire. No one was hurt in the fire, and all residents made it out. No word yet on how many people were affected. Saturday night, Crawford County deputies arrested a wanted man after he barricaded himself in a residence near Pittsburgh State University. According to the police report, the Pittsburgh Police Department received a call from the victim of an alleged domestic incident just after 5 p.m. at 1504 South Joplin Street. Upon further investigation, officers indicated the suspect was 20-year-old Isaiah Hayes. According to court records indicate Hayes was wanted on the following charges: possession of marijuana, methamphetamine, failure to appear, interference with law enforcement officers. When police learned Hayes was barricaded and possibly armed inside the residence, they requested the help of the Pittsburgh Police Special Response Team. Hayes was later then taken into custody. Police requested the following charges: criminal restraint, interference with law enforcement officers, aggravated domestic battery, choke in a rude manner, obstruction of felony warrant service, possession of methamphetamines. The Kansas Bureau of Investigation investigates the death of a Southeast Kansas man. Pittsburgh police say they received a call Friday afternoon reporting someone was shot. That's when they found 51-year-old David Mays of Weir, Kansas in the road near 1023 North Main. Authorities say they believe the fatal gunshot was a result of an altercation between potential suspects. Authorities arrested 43-year-old Colin Gepford and requested charges for suspicion of attempted premeditated first-degree murder and felony murder. The report says Gepford made the original call to police and he was arrested without incident. There is still another suspect they're searching for. That man, 32-year-old Travis Connis of Neosho, Missouri. Police say he is still at large. If you have any information on his whereabouts, please contact the Pittsburgh Police Department. And police in Webb City turned to the public for information regarding a break-in at a Chinese takeout. Authorities say the break-in at Bamboo Chinese Takeout on 209 North Main Street in Webb City took place just after 4:20 Friday morning. In a statement, Bamboo Chinese Takeout says they were broken into and their registers were stolen. Webb City police are asking for any information concerning this crime. You can contact them at 417-673-1911. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Pitt State played Nebraska Kearney over the weekend. We'll have those games went in sports. Plus, for his 60th birthday, Michael Jordan donated $10 million to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. We'll take you to meet a Make-A-Wish alum who was inspired after his wish was granted to meet Jordan to make a difference. Do you find yourself looking down at your phone often? A new study reveals why that's not a good thing. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Well, the Pittsburgh State Gorillas split a basketball doubleheader with Nebraska Kearney on Saturday. On the women's side, the Gorillas battled to the end but fell just short, losing 70-67. Pitt State actually led by 10 at one point in the third quarter, but UNK rallied to tie it up going into the fourth and took the lead with under 30 seconds to go. The Gorillas had all 5 starters in double figures Saturday, led by point guard Harper Schreiner. Freshman was aggressive all night and finished with 16 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists.
I mean, all year I've wanted Harper to just continue to be aggressive, get downhill. She is so strong, such a great driver. And, you know, she just knows that she's playing with a lot of great players and she's a point guard, and so she really likes to distribute and facilitate. I think, like you said, we're kind of seeing just scratching the surface of what she can do this year. But yes, being more aggressive to the rim in our offense is definitely a key for point guard.
Well, the Pitt State men snapped a 4-game losing streak on Saturday, beating the Lopers 93-85. They also had all 5 starters in double figures, with Jeremy Shaw and Marquis English leading the way. Shaw scored a season-high 23 points, while English posted a double-double with 23 points and 12 rebounds. The Gorillas will be back in action on Thursday on the road against Emporia State. The Missouri Southern Lions were also in action at home on Saturday. The Lions split a doubleheader with Fort Hays State. Southern men fell to the Tigers 84-70. On the women's side, the Lions beat the Tigers 61-58 in their final home game of the regular season. Missouri Southern out-rebounded Fort Hays State 44-28, and they got a big game out of junior guard Crislin Jones. Jones led the Lions with 18 points, including going 4 for 8 from 3.
She's such a good shooter. When she gets rolling, we try to do different things that we can get her more shots. Sometimes she gets a little too passive for me. She has some opportunities, but no, she was big, especially that first half, knocking down shots. It's huge that when we get our kids that are shooters knocking shots down, it doesn't make our offense any easier, but it gives us a better opportunity to get to the basket.
Still to come, authorities in Spain recover rare art done by Salvador Dali. Plus, we're going to take another look at that forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. We got a chilly start for us today as we're starting at 39 in Joplin right now under clear skies. We'll have increasing clouds later. We're sitting at 37 Iola, Parsons, Chautauqua, Miami, 45 Grove, 44 Neosho, and 35 in Lamar as we start our Monday. Going through the beginning of the morning, we'll see those clouds again increase through the morning, but temperatures increasing as well as we're heading to the mid-50s by the latter half of our morning. Looking at highs around 64 degrees. Will be mostly cloudy, but relatively calm winds throughout the day. Then those winds will start to increase later this evening and into the overnight, picking up 20, 30 mile an hour wind gusts. It's a slow drop back down to our low, but we'll eventually make it back down to 40 under mostly cloudy skies tonight. So talking about those wind gusts, here we are tomorrow morning. We'll start to see those winds increasing that 20 mile an hour range. By the afternoon, they're 20 to 30 miles an hour. As we head into the overnight, they're in that 30 to 40 mile an hour range, and they will remain gusty through the majority of our Wednesday as this system comes through, brings us a chance of showers and thunderstorms, and of course ahead of it we've got some pretty gusty winds, and then we get on the backside of it heading into Thursday morning and we're still dealing with gusty winds out there as well. So let's take a look at that system as it comes in. We head into tomorrow. We're looking at about the same thing as today, mid-60s for highs, lower to mid-60s for highs. It will be mostly cloudy throughout the day. It'll be early Wednesday morning, say about 3, 4 o'clock. Start to see some showers, maybe even some thunderstorms starting to build in across the area, and those will increase as we head through the late morning and into the afternoon hours. We're not anticipating any strong or severe storms at this time, but as we've said before, if that changes, we'll let you know. Showers and thunderstorms persist through most of our Wednesday. By the evening, they start to get out of here, and then eventually, as this system rolls on through, it's going to end up dropping our temperatures down pretty far, especially as we head into Wednesday night. So we're 63 tomorrow, 68 on Wednesday, 34 though for the low, and you can see here by Tuesday night into Wednesday there's not a lot of cooling that takes place, so we'll start our Wednesday pretty mild for this time of year. 48 Thursday, 44 by Friday. Temperatures will begin to increase as we head into the weekend, and rain chances will increase, and those temperatures continue to climb as winds increase heading into next week. So you can see by next Wednesday we're back to the lower 60s, so we're starting to get into that cycle. We're getting a little closer to spring, so we're getting a few more tastes of it. And as we get those tastes of spring, the temperatures are a bit warmer each time as well. On Michael Jordan's 60th birthday, he donated $10 million to Make-A-Wish America. A Make-A-Wish alum recounts how his wish to meet Michael Jordan was granted back in 2009. He's now 21 and healthy and remains a Michael Jordan fan. We take you to Sacramento to learn more.
And I'm like, oh, that's Michael Jordan. Like, that's really him. And
there has been some debate over whether he's the greatest of all time on the court.
He's definitely by far the GOAT off the court when it comes to granting wishes.
And that is not up for discussion. On top of the $10 million donation, Jordan has granted hundreds of wishes during the last 3 decades.
I got to fly out to the Bahamas and go to the Atlantis Paradise Island Resort and spend personal one-on-one time with Michael Jordan.
14 years ago, Elk Grove native Donovan Russell was battling eye cancer.
The first thing I said was meet Michael Jordan. He took us out on the golf courses. He took us out to a private dinner party that they had.
And after the Bahamas,
as well as go to the Michael Jordan Flight School basketball camp in Santa Barbara. I went there for 5 years. And every time I went, he would always recognize me and always speak to me.
Russell found strength in Jordan's generosity.
It really changed my perspective on my illness, and to me, it helped me get through the battle, because it's hard for a kid to not have a childhood and things like that. So that made me feel immensely special, and it just, put that fire under my feet.
Not long after having his own wish granted, Russell decided he wanted to be like Mike when it came to giving back.
My family and I decided that, maybe there's something we could do on our part too, because someone cared enough to look out for us. So we thought, why not look out for those that are around us that are experiencing similar things?
They started the Donovan Russell Foundation to help families with children affected by cancer and other illnesses.
I just want to be able to make other people feel special too.
Now 21 years old, Russell is healthy, thriving, and a forever fan of not just Jordan, the legend, but Jordan, the human.
Kids feel special when they meet Michael Jordan, and he makes them feel special, and he looks out for us, so I appreciate that.
And that brings us to our question for you this morning. In your opinion, who's the greatest basketball player of all time? Is it Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Larry Bird, or maybe somebody else? We want to hear from you. Make sure you vote through our website at koamnewsnow.com/vote. You can also vote in our app and then share who your favorite player is on our Facebook page. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, food and drinks with free sugars could lead to heart disease and stroke. According to a study published in BMC Medicine, free sugar found in processed drinks and foods and drinks, as well as table sugar, was specifically linked to increased risk of obesity, heart disease, and stroke. Participants in the study mainly consumed free sugars from cookies, pastries, fruit juice, and sugar-sweetened drinks. Now, researchers say for every 5% increase of free sugar intake, a participant's heart disease risk rose by 6% and stroke risk by 10%. U.S. recommendation of added sugar consumption is 10% of daily calories. Well, kids who spend less time in front of a screen and have a high daily step count could have a reduced risk of obesity. A study published by JAMA Network Open found kids with more than 4 hours of daily screen time had a higher risk of obesity. The study also found kids who took 6,000 to 12,000 steps a day had a 19% higher risk of obesity compared to those who averaged 12,000 plus steps. Kids who logged less than 6,000 daily steps had a 30% higher risk. Researchers say kids who lacked the daily target in one category, such as longer screen time, were still likely to have a higher body mass index, even if they met the recommended target in the other category, such as a high step count. Well, if you find yourself looking down at your phone or your tablet screen a lot, you could experience tech neck. Doctors say since humans are upright creatures, looking down for a long period of time puts stress on the cervical spine. A news release from the University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center reports Americans spend 5 hours a day on their cell phones. Tech neck can result in muscle stiffness, joint inflammation, pinched nerves, or even herniated disc. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got ourselves a relatively chilly start for today, but warmer weather is on the way along with rain chances. We'll take a look at all that when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, some Fort Scott residents raise money to build a splash pad in the city by bringing a Branson-based illusionist.
It's a chilly start for us this morning, but warmer temperatures are on the way for today. We'll take a look at your forecast coming up.
And the Miners Home Museum in Franklin, Kansas hosts its next installment of its current ongoing exhibit about doing business in the mining era.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 5:28. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's a little bit on the chilly side out there as we start our day, but the good news is there are warmer temperatures on the way, and we're going to stay warm at least for the next 2 or 3 days across the area. Right now, MoDOT camera at 32nd and Range Line showing us we're looking pretty good out there. Roads are clear, skies are clear, but the clouds are going to begin to increase as we head through the morning hours. We're sitting at 39 in Joplin right now. Again, it is a bit on the chilly side. And as we take a look around the region, again, cool temperatures. 36 Yates Center, 35 Chanute, 37 Parsons Chatopa, 35 Miami, 43 in Neosho, 39 in Carthage, and 36 as we get started in Lamar. Starting our morning We'll see those clouds begin to increase. It'll be mostly cloudy through the majority of our morning. In fact, for the next 2 or 3 days. We're up to 56, though, by 11 o'clock this morning. So a nice warm-up on the way, and it's not done yet. So we're looking at highs in the lower to mid-60s across the area. Calm winds and, again, mostly cloudy skies, but we'll get a few peaks of sun out there later today. We're also looking at mostly cloudy skies as we go through our evening, down to 50 by 10 o'clock, looking at an overnight low of 40 degrees. Now, the winds are really going to start to pick up as we head into tomorrow. We start our day. The wind's not too bad. I mean, they're gusting up there about 20 miles an hour, but as we head into the afternoon and evening hours, those wind gusts increase to that 20 to 30 mile an hour range. And as we head into the overnight, we're talking wind gusts for some of us pushing upwards of 40 miles an hour. And it will stay gusty as we head into Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon, and even into Wednesday evening. Winds pick back up for all of us into that 40 mile an hour range out there. So very gusty conditions on the way. And that's because we've got some showers and thunderstorms coming in as we head into Wednesday morning. We'll take a more in-depth look at your forecast here in just a little bit. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. As Missouri adjusts to the legalization of recreational marijuana, the impact is also felt in southeast Kansas. Law enforcement in Kansas say they might have slightly more work to do. Cherokee County Sheriff David Grove says they've not seen much of an uptick in cases with possession of marijuana, but there has already been a slight increase in impaired driving. Sheriffs are trained to conduct different types of road tests because it's not always easy to determine a level of marijuana that someone can have when driving.
With alcohol, there's a standard. It's 0.08, and then you're deemed too impaired to drive safely. With marijuana, that's not the case because there's different potency levels of marijuana.
Officers are looking for specific clues during the interaction with the driver, and based on those, the driver may be asked to take an additional test. We'll have more on this in our 6 o'clock hour. Well, there is magic in the air. Some Fort Scott residents are raising money to bring a splash pad to the city. To do that, they brought in Branson-based illusionist Reza. He performed at the Ellis Fine Arts Center on the campus of Fort Scott Community College.
It is completely accessible and inclusive to everyone, regardless of any limitations that somebody might have as far as mobility, mental, physical, age. So it's completely open for everyone to enjoy, and it's actually going to be the Fort Scott community's very first park that is accessible for everyone.
She's, of course, referring to the splash pad, not the illusionist. Now, once the pad is funded, the group plans to build the splash pad in downtown Fort Scott. On Sunday, the Miners Hall Museum hosted its next installment of its Money and Metals series, Doing Business in the Mining Era exhibit. The program focused on banknotes with discussion about national banknotes and local banking traditions. After the presentation, guests were able to explore the rest of the exhibit.
Well, the Fowler family was connected to 3 local state banks throughout the mining region, and Brent is a descendant of that group, actually a third-generation banker, the grandson of the founder of the bank in Arcadia, Kansas, and a longtime banker himself in Arma, Kansas. And he's seen a lot of changes, in the banking business over that time, and changes in the currency that circulated as well.
The museum will feature more special presentations throughout the year. Boots Court Motel in Carthage, Missouri is now fully open. KOAM's Carrie Worthen takes us there.
For the first time in decades, we have all 13 rooms open.
The nonprofit Boots Court Foundation saves the historic Boots Court Motel and restores it to its natural beauty.
So we saved what we could, but some places there wasn't anything to save, so we had to go back in with stuff that was new but had the feel of old, which is what we want. We want to honor the history of Route 66.
When I walked in, I was very surprised. I was like, wow, it was so clean, so basic, and it just had the feel that I was hoping for, kind of a vintage feel.
Boots Motel was constructed in 1939 by Arthur Boots and started out with 4 rooms. Boots later added on to have 8 rooms after seeing how successful the motel was. A second building was added in 1946 by the Neely family, which brought the total guest rooms to 13.
Oh my goodness, everyone is so happy and so pleased that we have saved the boots and we have restored it.
Paula Holler is traveling from Minnesota to Arizona.
I looked around on the internet and saw Boots Motel, and it looked really interesting. So I thought, hey, let's check it out, and I've managed to get here in the Clark Gable room.
It's a room that Clark Gable actually stayed in. We have a couple of those, but one that we have decorated with some Gone with the Wind stuff, so that's kind of fun.
Some of the rooms have original details, but the iconic neon is what brings the motel to life.
The neon is just the icing on top of the cake. We have beautiful green neon that comes on every night about dusk, and it just makes our boots shine like an emerald. So we are very happy.
In Carthage, Carrie Worthen, KOAM News.
Manager of the Boots Motel says the old Sinclair gas station next door is also being redone with an office for the motel and Route 66 Visitor Center. That could be completed in a couple of months. All right, that'll be neat when that's done.
Absolutely.
Well, this morning we're discussing who's the greatest basketball player of all time.
Well, there's been some debate over whether he's the greatest of all time on the court, but there's no debate that he's the GOAT when it comes to granting wishes. On top of the $10 million donation, Michael Jordan has granted hundreds of wishes during the last 3 decades.
14 years ago, Elk Grove native Donovan Russell was battling eye cancer. Now his wish? To meet the GOAT himself, Michael Jordan. Russell found strength in Jordan's generosity, and not long after having his own wish granted, Russell decided he wanted to be like Mike when it came to giving back.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. In your opinion, who is the greatest basketball player of all time? So far, 50% of you say it's Michael Jordan, 30% of you say Larry Bird, 10% of you say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and 10% of you say somebody else. Plenty of options on there, so make sure you vote through our website, our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
I figured LeBron or Kobe would have a few votes. Maybe as the morning progresses.
As the morning progresses, I'm sure
their fans are still in bed at this point.
A few more folks will wake up. We'll get a few more votes on there.
All right, and that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. A 103-year-old woman is out and about living her best life as she attends this year's Mardi Gras.
Plus, a German farmer celebrates the birth of a 6-legged lamb. Yeah, we'll have the latest on that.
Interesting. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. From the KOAM Newsroom,
Landslides have claimed the lives of at least a number of people in several cities in North Sao Paulo state, and they fear the death toll may rise. The cities of São Sebastião and Bertoga are among the hardest hit communities. They canceled their carnival festivities as rescue teams struggle to find the missing and injured. Sao Paulo state government says the amount of rainfall in just one day almost reached 2 feet, one of the highest amounts ever in Brazil in such a short period. Officials have requested support from the Army, which will send 2 airplanes and rescue teams to the region. Israeli airstrikes reportedly killing several people in Syria on Sunday. Syrian state news says that the attack on the Syrian capital of Damascus killed people and injured 15. Explosions were reportedly heard in the central part of the city around midnight local time, while Syrian air defenses were combating the targets in the sky. Several residential buildings, an art institute, a medieval citadel were damaged by the strikes, according to Syrian news. Israel has acknowledged that it targets the bases of Iran-allied militant groups, but Israeli officials have not, however, commented on the incident. The attack coming almost 2 weeks after a massive earthquake devastated both Syria and Turkey.
Now, militants in Pakistan stormed the police headquarters in Karachi on Friday. The sound of the gunfire and explosions echoed through the city for several hours. Government officials say 3 security force members and a civilian lost their lives. 18 members of the security force were injured. 2 suicide bombers were killed during the attack, and at least 1 blew himself up after entering the police building. Carnival kicks off in Rio de Janeiro. The festival officially began after a symbolic key to the city was presented to King Momo, a character known as the King of Carnivals. multiple Latin American festivities. Rio's mayor handed the large bedazzled key over during a ceremony at the government palace, which featured elaborate costumes, dancers, and music. Every year, Rio explodes for 5 days as the celebrations and parades take over the city streets. Rio earns nearly $1 billion from the boost in tourism. And Spanish police recover rare art by surrealist painter Salvador Dali. The art pieces reported stolen a year ago are two 100-year-old sketches estimated to be worth almost $320,000. Sketches authenticated by the Gala Salvador Dali Foundation were illustrations for a book Dali was hired to work on. Police detained 3 brothers for the theft. They're also believed to be involved in other burglaries of high-end art and luxury goods. And a farmer in Germany is stunned when he discovers a baby lamb with 6 legs born in his barn. Apart from the extra appendage, the newborn lamb is in good health, and that's according to the farm's vet. However, the lamb is having a little trouble balancing and moving around its stall to nurse on mom. And once the newborn lamb gets a little stronger, mom and the baby will rejoin other lambs in the pasture. Sure looks happy. Well, Japan's defense ministry reports North Korea launched 2 ballistic missiles from its west coast early in the morning. They're saying that they are still analyzing the data, but believe the missiles fell just outside Japan's exclusive economic zone. The first projectile is believed to have flown 400 kilometers, 248 miles at a maximum altitude of about 100 kilometers or 62 miles. The second missile, on the other hand, flew short of that, hitting a max altitude of 50 kilometers, or rather 31 miles, and flying about 350 kilometers or 217 miles. Different type of Bigfoot has been found in the UK in an area called the Dinosaur Coast. It's a Megalosaurus footprint. The one that has been discovered measures about 3 feet long. It's the largest of its kind. The 3-toed footprint is one of only 6 to be found in the area. Archaeologist Marie Woods, who made the discovery, says she can no longer tell people archaeologists don't do dinosaurs. Traditionally, geologists and paleontologists focus on dinosaur fragments. As a rule, archaeologists study ancient human artifacts. Well, it took more than a century, but a letter addressed to a South London flat finally reached its destination. The current occupant, Finlay Glenn, saw the year 16 on the envelope and assumed it meant 2016 till he noticed the stamp featured King George V instead of Queen Elizabeth II. Letter was written by the daughter of a sea merchant and was addressed to the wife of a local stamp magnate with the salutation, "My dear Katie." She wrote about a family holiday in Bath and said she was suffering with a very heavy cold. Local magazine is putting together an article about the discovery, but what happened to the letter is still a mystery. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we got a pretty chilly start for us across the area, but we're going to have another spring-like day out there. We're at 39 in Joplin right now. Clear skies, but clouds will be increasing through the morning. We've got 35 Yates Center, Iola, Chanute, 37 Parsons, Chetopa, 35 in Miami, 43 in Neosho, 39 in Carthage as we start our Monday. As we go through the rest of the morning, again, those clouds will increase. It'll be mostly cloudy through the morning, up to 56, though, by about 11 o'clock, so not looking too bad. We're going to make it into lower to mid-60s for highs. We'll be mostly cloudy. We'll have a few peaks of sun out there, so not a bad day overall. And we're slow to cool this evening. We'll make it down eventually to 50 by 10 o'clock. Mostly cloudy skies tonight and 40 for the low. As we head into tomorrow morning, though, the winds will start to increase. Now, they'll be in that 20-mile-an-hour range, so not too bad for the gusts. But as we go through the day and into the evening hours, those wind gusts start picking up 20 to 30 miles an hour. Overnight, they're in that 30 to 40-mile-an-hour range, and it will stay breezy like that as we head through our Wednesday and even into early Thursday morning, still looking at wind gusts in that 30 to 40 mile an hour range. So do be prepared for that. We're tracking some rain chances. Part of the reason the winds are going to pick up ahead of us. So we get the mostly cloudy skies today. We'll have mostly cloudy skies again tomorrow, but we'll be warm. And then as we head into early Wednesday morning, we'll start to see a few showers around the area, maybe a few thunderstorms, and those will continue, especially through the mid-morning and into the early afternoon hours. More showers and thunderstorms likely, and they'll hold on through the evening, and they'll eventually kick on out of here. here, and will still be windy with all of that. But not long after that system leaves, the temperatures as you look out west, they're going to start to drop. Now, thankfully, it doesn't get quite that cold for us, but it's going to get chilly. We're up to 63 tomorrow, 68 Wednesday, down to 34 for the low, 48 Thursday. We're going to drop all the way down to 21 Thursday night, 44 on Friday. And then as we head into this upcoming weekend, the temperatures increase, as you can see, but so do rain chances. And temperatures continue to increase after that. We'll also see the winds increase heading into the start of next week. We're looking to be up to 62 by next Wednesday. So we're starting to get a few more tastes of spring, starting to get a little warmer with those tastes of spring because, again, each of these days brings us that much closer to the official start of spring. We'll be back with more right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Firefighters battle an early morning blaze in Carthage, Missouri. Fire was around 1:30 a.m. Saturday morning at 410 Cedar Street. At first report, there were flames and smoke from the second floor of a wood-framed house. And just minutes later, the second floor became fully engulfed in flames. Authorities blocked area roads to contain the fire. No one was hurt in the fire, and all residents made it out. No word yet on how many people were affected. City of Pittsburgh receives a grant. The up to $16,000 grant will go towards supporting the surveying of historic downtown buildings. Survey aims to collect and gather information about the buildings, around how they were used and who owned them. It can be useful for planning things such as disasters and future development. Some KCU Joplin students are giving back to the community. Students from the school's Christian Medical and Dental Association volunteered at the Ronald McDonald House of the Four States. Some helped prepare and serve meals to families, and others cleaned up around the house as part of the Healthy House projects. And Joplin is getting a brand new movie theater that'll offer a lot more than movies. B&B Theaters announced it's bringing a new location to the city. The nation's largest privately held theater chain says it will construct a luxury 8-screen cinema at the southeast corner of 32nd Street and Hammonds Boulevard. The new location will feature laser projection, heated leather recliners, a bar and grill, and an arcade. No word yet on when construction is expected to be complete. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. One lady has been living her best life and celebrating Mardi Gras for 103 years. Josh Robertson takes us to meet this Mardi Gras veteran.
First, I like seeing the parades, seeing all the people, all the children, the bands and all. We have it all.
At 103 years old, Mary Muniz has seen more parades than most in her lifetime. But as she, friends, and family prepared to watch the cruise of Iris and Tux on Saturday, Muniz says she has no intention of stopping now.
I'm still enjoying life. I'm still kicking, but not as high.
Affectionately known as Nana, Muniz was on the Uptown New Orleans parade route to watch her daughter ride with the crew of Iris. She also had a grandson riding with the crew of Tux.
My daughter is 80 years old, so it's been that many years. In fact, I have a little nephew that's in Catholic school, 6 years old, so he knows how old I am. So he told his mother the other day, said, you know, Mama, God is the oldest, and then Nanny, that's me.
Yes, she is everyone's like Nana. I mean, she is awesome.
Leighton Jeremy isn't related to Muniz, but has been part of the group that gathers on the St. Charles Neutral Ground for years. Loved ones at one point even made shirts with some of their favorite Nana quotes. Jeremy says she makes everyone feel like family.
She is like Mardi Gras. Yeah. She is the queen. She is what is good in life.
Muniz says that after more than a century, her love for New Orleans and Mardi Gras hasn't faded one bit, and she still plans to get the most out of life.
The food, we have the people that are just fantastic, and so I'm still enjoying it all. That's why I'm still hanging around.
The food, that's probably my favorite part. The food of Mardi Gras, everything down in New Orleans, it's great. All right, we will be right back after the break. A safari park in Florida welcomes an adorable baby chimpanzee. Meet Lily. She was born January 28th at the Lion Country Safari in West Palm Beach. Her name honors the Tonko Lily chimpanzee project, conservation initiative in Sierra Leone. Lily joins a family of 2 females and 3 males, including 1-year-old Tonk. Staff members say Lily's mother, Juniper, has been proudly showing off her baby, who can be seen clinging to her mom inside their habitat. Lily's birth is rare and significant due to declining numbers of chimpanzees in the wild and the low number of births in the population. A memorial at New Hampshire State House will honor New Hampshire teacher Krista McAuliffe. She was part of the 1986 Challenger space mission crew and was killed when the shuttle exploded shortly after takeoff. McAuliffe had been selected to be the first civilian teacher ever to travel to space. New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu issued an executive order to create a commission to oversee design and construction of the McAuliffe Memorial.
Well, we've got a chilly start for us today, but do not worry, it's still going to warm up. We'll have increasing clouds. It'll be mostly cloudy through the morning, but up to 56 by 11. And the warming's not done yet. It's very spring-like out there. Calm winds, mostly cloudy skies. A few peaks of sun, though, are still possible. Looking at a high of about 64 degrees, so not bad whatsoever. We're slow to cool this evening. We hold on to mostly cloudy skies down to 50 by 10 o'clock, but we will eventually drop back down to 40 for our overnight low. We'll have the winds picking up tomorrow. We're talking the 20 to 30 mile an hour range. And as we head into tomorrow night and into Wednesday, we're talking that 30 to 40 mile an hour range. So be prepared for that. Up to 63 Tuesday. We don't get cool when Tuesday night, only down to 59. 68 Wednesday. Looking at scattered thunderstorms starting to build in early Wednesday morning. And they'll last most of the day. Behind that, though, we drop down to 34. 48 Thursday. That's our coldest night here. 21 Thursday night. 44 on Friday. We start warming up into the weekend. Rain chances increase as well. But the warm-up continues. We're back into the lower 60s by next weekend. We'll also see the winds increase as we head into the start of next week, but we're getting ever so closer to spring across the 4 states. We're back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Right now at 6, Saturday night turns deadly in Greene County for a Willard, Missouri woman.
We're cool to start our morning, but we've got more spring-like weather on the way. We'll talk about our forecast coming up.
And the grass is not greener for everyone following Missouri's passage of recreational marijuana use. KOAM's Yana Hadula takes us to Kansas to find out how this new law is crossing state lines.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. Just after 6 o'clock, Monday. Boo.
I know.
Oh, man, I tell you, Monday just, whatever. But remember, we say it every Monday. Once we get through to today, we're on the downhill run to Friday.
There you go.
We're going to make it, and it's going to be a great day to make it through as well. Taking a look at the MoDOT camera, 32nd and range line, you can see that we are looking okay so far. We've got clear roads, clear skies. It's going to not remain clear in the sky, but the roads should definitely remain clear. We're sitting at 38 in Joplin right now with those clear skies, but those clouds will begin to roll in a little later this morning. We're at 35 Iola, 30 48 Center, bunch of 37, Chinook, Parsons, Chatopa, 41 Miami, 46 Neosho. Check out Anderson up to 48. And even Bentonville sitting at 53, so some of us a little milder than the rest of us. Here's what we're looking at through the morning. Clouds increase to the point we are just straight up mostly cloudy, but by 11 o'clock, look at that temperature up to 56 degrees by 11. And we're looking at highs in the lower to possibly even mid-60s across the region. We will be mostly cloudy. The winds will be calm today, though. We'll even see a few peaks of sunshine out there, so a beautiful spring-like day aside from a few extra clouds. We'll remain mostly cloudy as we head into tonight, dropping back down to 50 by 10 o'clock with an overnight low of 40 degrees. Now, the winds are going to really start to pick up as we head into tomorrow through even Thursday of this week. So tomorrow morning, this isn't that bad. It's gusty, yes, upwards of about 20 miles an hour, but not that bad. As we go through the afternoon and into the early evening hours on Tuesday, we start to see those wind gusts in that 20 to 30 mile an hour range. And as we go overnight Tuesday into Wednesday morning, we're looking at wind gusts of 30 to 40 miles an hour, potentially higher for some of us at times. And those gusty winds will hold on. Now, parts of southeast Kansas get a little bit of a break tomorrow afternoon. afternoon, but then we all get back in on that strong southerly, southwesterly breeze at this point of, again, 30, 40 miles an hour, perhaps a bit higher for some of us, and it won't be until Thursday afternoon and evening that those winds begin to calm down. And that's because that's ahead of a system that's going to bring a few changes to our forecast, some brief changes, but changes nonetheless. We're going to be mostly cloudy as we go into our Tuesday as well, but we'll still be on the warm side, just got to handle those winds. As we head into early Friday morning, we're watching showers and thunderstorms begin to develop across the area early Wednesday morning, and those will persist as we get into the afternoon. Best chances for more widespread thunderstorm activity heading into late morning, early afternoon tomorrow, and it hangs on as we head into Wednesday evening before that eventually kicks out of here, and it will make us a little colder. Thankfully, not quite 2 degrees cold, but it will make us a bit colder as we head into our Thursday and Friday. And we'll take a more in-depth look at your forecast here in just a few minutes. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Police in Webb City turned to the public for information regarding a break-in at a Chinese takeout. Authorities say the break-in at Bamboo Chinese on 209 North Main Street in Webb City took place just after 4:20 Friday morning. In a statement, Bamboo Chinese said they were broken into and their registers stolen. The Webb City Police are asking for any information concerning this crime. You can contact them 417-673-1911. A late Saturday night crash in Greene County takes the life of a Willard, Missouri woman. At about 11:37 Saturday night, a 2010 Toyota Prius driven by Bailey Collins ran off of Route Z 2 miles north of Willard. The car then struck a tree, overturned, and caught fire. Bailey was pronounced deceased at the scene. The Kansas Bureau of Investigation is investigating the death of a Southeast Kansas man. Pittsburgh police say they received a call Friday afternoon reporting someone was shot. They found 51-year-old David Mays of Weir, Kansas, in the road near 1023 North Main. Authorities say they believe the fatal gunshot was a result of an altercation between potential suspects. Authorities arrested 43-year-old Colin Gepford and requested charges for suspicion of attempted premeditated first-degree murder and felony murder. The report says Gepford made the original call to police and he was arrested without incident. There is still another suspect they are searching for. That man, 32-year-old Travis Connis of Neosho, Missouri. Police say he is still at large. If you have any information on his whereabouts, contact the Pittsburgh Police Department. Authorities charged 2 Missouri men in connection to the death of a missing woman. Sean Wickstrom of Stockton and Christopher Appleby of El Dorado Springs are charged with first-degree involuntary manslaughter, evidence tampering, and abandonment of a corpse. This comes after Ginger Lynn Shoemaker went missing several weeks ago. Authorities found her body on February 8th in a rural part of Cedar County. Investigators were able to recover the body, but there still is no word yet on the cause of death. As Missouri adjusts to the legalization of recreational marijuana, the impact is also felt in southeast Kansas. KOAM's Yana Tula talked with a sheriff and an addiction treatment center in Kansas about the issues legalized marijuana may bring to the state.
Since recreational marijuana has been legalized in the state of Missouri, law enforcement in Kansas may have slightly more work to do.
I think that we most certainly could see people who have lawfully smoked or ingested marijuana in Missouri and then travel into the state of Kansas.
Jerry Crow says they have not seen so much of an uptick in cases with possession of marijuana on the side of Kansas, but there's a slight increase in impaired driving.
We're adapting to the legalization of marijuana and the higher instances of drivers being impaired by not just marijuana but any kind of controlled substance.
Sheriffs are trained to conduct different types of roadside tests.
They're looking for specific clues during that whole interaction, and based on those clues, if they're present, they may be asked to take an additional test.
DCCCA Addiction Treatment Center in Pittsburgh notices changes with residents.
People not thinking marijuana use is a problem anymore because it's been legalized now in just about every state around us.
Deidre Johnson says there could be an increase with people in Kansas using marijuana, and problems can come along with the use.
Just have something else to focus on and not have to think about their problems, or to be able to relax, and people can get dependent on that pretty quickly.
A lot of Kansas residents are in Missouri frequently, and Missouri residents are in Kansas and back and forth. At the end of the day, marijuana in the state of Kansas is still illegal.
In southeast Kansas, Yana Audala, KOAM News.
Sheriff Grove says consequences for bringing a small amount of marijuana is generally a misdemeanor crime. Larger quantities and other items could lead to a charge of felony possession with intent to distribute. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, from simple farmer to leader of the nation, the world watches Jimmy Carter.
Former President Jimmy Carter is in hospice care. I'm Cristian Benavides in Plains, Georgia, where he's spending the remainder of his time alongside his family.
Plus, virtual reality technology isn't just for games anymore. We take a look at a cutting-edge VR tool that's giving some seniors a new take on life. And the 4 states have some clouds, but don't let them stand in the way of what's shaping up to be a lovely Monday. Chris has the latest on your forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Tapping Nation Watch this morning, the world is reflecting on the accomplishments of former President Jimmy Carter, who is receiving home hospice care after several hospital stays. The 98-year-old served 1 term in the White House from 1977 to 1981. Christian Benavides has more.
Visitors came to the Carter Center in Atlanta over the weekend following the announcement former President Jimmy Carter has chosen to enter home hospice care.
Great man, great president, probably underappreciated by those who don't know much about him.
Those who worked alongside Carter on projects with Habitat for Humanity after he was president are also remembering all of his efforts to help others.
He is one hard worker. He's the first one on the site in the morning and very often the last one to leave by the end of the day.
But nowhere are the memories stronger than here in Plains, Georgia, Carter's hometown, where he's lived for more than 4 decades following his presidency.
Lord, we'd be amiss this morning if we did not lift President Carter to you.
At Carter's church, there were prayers and reflections on what he and wife Rosalind fostered in the community.
It's just the examples that they have given to adults as well as my children who have grown up knowing them.
Carter taught Sunday school at the Baptist church, where his niece continued the family's work yesterday.
And to have known them and to love them.
You would have over 500 visitors here that sometimes would spend up to 48 hours in this parking lot waiting just for an opportunity to see him teach.
Others in town shared their thoughts on the longest living president in American history.
Down to earth country boy just like me. He'll tell you the truth about anything.
President Biden tweeted, quote, "We admire you for the strength and humility you have shown in difficult times. May you continue your journey with grace and dignity, and God grant you peace." Cristian Benavides, CBS News, Plains, Georgia.
Carter's grandson, Jason, says he saw both of his grandparents on Saturday and that they are at peace and their home is full of love. That's a look at one of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a chilly start for some of us today. Some of us, though, a little bit milder as we start our day. All of us getting in on some spring-like weather. We're also looking at some increasing winds and increasing storm chances this week. We'll take a look at your complete forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Coming up on 6:16, time for a little weather trivia. This one, the question seems simple, but it may be a little bit more difficult. We want to know, what is CAPE? So CAPE is something that meteorologically we don't really mention on the air, but we do look at when we're looking at thunderstorm potential. So is it combined adiabatic potential energy, convective adiabatic potential energy, cumulative advective potential energy, or convective available potential energy? Those are some really large words, and this is why we don't talk about it on air much. But we will find out what it really is here in just a moment. 7th in range line, we're looking good so far. Same at the MoDOT camera at 32nd in range line. Roads are clear. Skies are clear for now, but that's going to change as the day progresses. We're sitting at 38 in Joplin. We got calm winds, and at least for today, our winds will remain calm. And again, a little warmer to the southeast, a little cooler to the northwest. 30, 48 Center, 37 Parsons, Chanute, Chatopa, 41 Miami, 48 38 Anderson, 37 Carthage, and 36 in Nevada. Now, as we go through the morning, we'll see the clouds increase. We'll also see our temperatures increase. Don't these look lovely? It's hard to believe it's February. It's still February, but we're getting so close to March. 56 by 11 o'clock this morning, and we're not done yet. We're looking at highs pushing lower to mid-60s across the area. Mostly cloudy skies, though, but we will see a few peaks of sun out there as we go through the day, so not bad overall. And as we head through this evening, the clouds, again, they act as that little thermal blanket, so we are slow to cool. We're going to still be about 50 degrees come 10 o'clock with those mostly cloudy skies, looking at an overnight low of about 40. So here's what we're talking about with the winds. As we head into tomorrow morning, they're not bad initially. I mean, they're gusty, upwards of about 20 miles an hour, but not that bad. However, as the afternoon and evening progresses, those winds start to increase in that 20 to 30 mile an hour range. We get overnight, and we start to see wind gusts in that 30 to 40 mile an hour range. Some of us could even see a few gusts higher than that, and that same situation persists into Wednesday morning with those 40 mile an hour gusts. Southeast Kansas gets a little bit of a break, while southwest Missouri and parts of northeast Oklahoma stay gusty, and then we all get back in on that gusty activity heading into early Thursday morning with, again, gusts 30, 40 miles an hour, perhaps higher for some of us, and it won't be until Thursday evening that the winds finally begin to calm down, and that is ahead of our next weather maker across the area. We go through today, again, mostly cloudy but pleasant. We head into tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies again, but another warm day on tap for us across the area and breezy. And then by early Wednesday morning, we start to see showers, maybe even a few thunderstorms fire up across the area. Our best chance for more widespread thunderstorm activity will be late Wednesday morning into the early afternoon across the region. And we'll still continue to see showers and maybe a few thunderstorms holding on as we head into Wednesday evening before those finally kick out of here. And then eventually we're going to get down right cold after that, at least briefly, but thankfully you've seen Goodland down to 15 by Thursday evening. We're not going to be that cold. So now, real quick, answer to our trivia question. What is CAPE? I'm not going to run through these long names again, but if you happen to pick D, convective available potential energy, you would be correct. In fact, CAPE is one measure of the instability in the atmosphere. So when we have thunderstorm chances, especially if we're looking at the possibility of severe weather, CAPE is something that we look at, and there's a variety of it at different levels that we take a look at to determine what our severe threat may be. Now, the good news is for Wednesday, at least right now, we're not anticipating any strong or severe thunderstorms. We're up to 63 tomorrow, 68 Wednesday. As you can see, Tuesday night, by the way, we don't really do much cooling. We're going to be very mild Wednesday morning. 34, though, Wednesday night, 48 Thursday, down to 21 Thursday night. So that's our coldest night up here. 44 by Friday. Temperatures will begin to increase into the weekend, as you can see, back into the 50s and near 60. We also have additional rain chances Saturday evening into Sunday. Once that clears out, the wind will pick up again as we kick off next week. But take a look at the temperatures. No significant drop. In fact, they continue to rise as we're looking to be back into the lower 60s by next Wednesday. So an absolutely gorgeous forecast for us. Just a couple of cold days and nights to get through. We're back with more right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, COVID-19 infections can create life-threatening changes to the heart. A study at Columbia University found the virus can affect the heart's calcium levels and trigger inflammation. Researchers say COVID patients are 55% more likely to suffer a major cardiovascular event, including heart attack or stroke. For patients in the early stages of Alzheimer's, drinking even modest amounts of alcohol could accelerate the disease. A study at Wake University studied mice to track the effects of drinking. It found alcohol speeds up the cost of brain cells and increases the number of plaques. When children spike a fever, parents may be reaching for medication too quickly. A national poll at the University of Michigan found 1 in 3 parents would give fever-reducing medication for temperatures below 100.4. Doctors say it's often better for a low-grade fever to run its course, and that it helps a child's body fight off infection. Social isolation can be a major health risk for people as they age. According to the CDC, loneliness can increase the risk of depression, dementia, and even death. But a cutting-edge tool is helping some seniors stay connected. Bradley Blackburn explains.
On a rainy day at River Spring Living Center in New York City, therapist Dominique Fickling is leading a trip a world away.
Bermuda?
She's taking residents to the beach, no sunscreen needed.
Oh, just serene. It was so beautiful. Makes me feel like I'm over there.
The water, oh my goodness, I just wanted to put my feet in and just get right in. It just, oh, it was so realistic, you know?
Take a little bit of sand, pick it up, pick it up.
This retirement home is one of hundreds now using virtual reality as a form of fun and therapy. A company called Rendeavor designed these VR sets especially for seniors.
Surprisingly, elderly people adapt better than young people. They love change when it comes to fun things and interesting things, and they really have embraced this.
We're just going to go through your home setting.
After a surgery or major life change, seniors can use actual images of home to practice in occupational therapy.
He came to win.
And games are a way to connect. Friends Al and Arnold get competitive, popping virtual balloons.
This can be anybody's game, fellas.
Me and Al are very similar. He beats me every time.
Virtual experiences can create powerful emotions, like when residents return to the block where they grew up.
Kind of get into that mental health space where we were able to just talk about it.
Today, Marjorie Bryant went back to the Harlem street where she remembers playing as a girl.
Jump rope and roller skate.
Right there with friends again, as virtual reality finds a new generation of older fans. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
VR companies like Rendeavor are also incorporating exercise equipment like stationary bikes to turn virtual reality sessions into a real-world workout. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a bit of a cold start out there. We're sitting at 38 degrees in Joplin under clear skies. Again, colder off to the northwest. We got 36 Yates Center, 37 Iola, Chanute, Parsons, Chatopa, 36 Miami, 41 in Neosho. We're sitting at 35 in Lamar. As we go through the morning, the clouds will increase, but the good news is the wind is calm, and that's important because it's really going to get breezy tomorrow into Wednesday and even into Thursday. But take a look at these temperatures. Warming up to about 56 by 11 this morning. And we are heading for highs in the lower to mid 60s. Even though we'll be mostly cloudy, we'll still see a few peaks of sunshine out there. So overall, not too bad today. Very spring-like. And as we head into this evening, thanks to the clouds, we are somewhat slow to cool. We'll drop back down to about 50 by 10 o'clock and looking at an overnight low of 40. That's a check your forecast for today. We'll be back with more right after this.
Right now at 6:30, visitors headed to Carthage can once again spend the night in a historic Route 66 motel.
We got a chilly start for us today, but we've got very spring-like weather coming in. We'll talk about that full forecast, some wind and rain as well coming up.
And Carthage also brings out the collectors to the 5th annual 4-State Record Show.
The 4 States Most Watched News starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 6:29. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's a little bit on the cold side for some of us this morning, but we've got a very spring-like day ahead of us. In fact, we have a very few spring-like days ahead of us as we go through the next couple of days. However, some changes are on the way. We've got decent conditions right now, though. MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line, looks good so far. Clear roads, clear skies. Same at 7th in range line with our camera there. Clear roads, clear skies. 38 degrees in Joplin right now. Some of us a little cooler, some of us a pinch warmer. We've got 36 Yates Center, 37 Chanute, Parsons, Chatopa, 36 in Miami, 41 in Neosho, 44 in Monette, and we're sitting at 37 in Carthage this morning. As we get our day started, we'll see those clouds begin to increase through the morning hours to the point we are just mostly cloudy. But take a look at these temperatures, up to 56 by 11 this morning. As we go through today, temperatures pushing lower to mid 60s for highs. Will be mostly cloudy. The winds will be calm, but we could see a few peaks of sunlight out there from time to time. It's not a bad day overall. Down to 50 by 10 o'clock. Mostly cloudy skies continue and we'll eventually make it down to a low of 40. The winds are really going to start to pick up as we head into our Tuesday. Early, they're not bad, gusting to 20, but as we go through the day, that picks up 20 to 30. We head into the late night. We go into the 40 to 45-mile-an-hour range for some of us, and it will stay gusty all the way through our Wednesday and even into our early Thursday morning. Still looking at wind gusts 30, 40 miles an hour, potentially a bit higher for some of us if we got some showers and thunderstorms coming in by Wednesday morning. So let's take a look real quick at the week ahead. Here's what we've got. 63 tomorrow, 59 for the low, so not a bunch of change in temperature. 68 Wednesday, scattered showers and thunderstorms starting as early about 4 o'clock in the morning. Then Wednesday night, we get a little bit of a cold snap down to 34, 48 Thursday, down to 21. By the way, that's our coldest night for the next several nights at this point. 44 on Friday, 55 Saturday, 59 Sunday. We see the temperatures increasing, but we also watch increasing rain chances. So this little cold snap only lasts about 2.5 days, and then we're back to spring-like weather. Tanya?
Thanks, Chris. Good news for a favorite old building in Carthage. The Boots Court Motel in Carthage is now fully open for guests to stay. This historic motel is the second oldest motel in operation on Route 66. The Boots Court Foundation saved the motel from being torn down.
And that's what Route 66 is all about. Taking something from our heritage and sharing it with the people around the world. I mean, we have people from all countries that have reservations coming up this spring, and we just can't wait to get to meet those people and show them our beautiful boots.
Boots Court Motel has 13 rooms and is available for nightly stays only. A Franklin, Kansas museum cashes in on the past with a money exhibit. On Sunday, the Miners Hall Museum hosted its next installment of their Money and Metals Doing Business in the Mining Era exhibit. The program focused on banknotes with discussion about national banknotes and local banking traditions. After the presentation, guests were able to explore the rest of the exhibit.
Well, the Fowler family was connected to 3 local state banks throughout the mining region, and Brent is a descendant of that group, actually a third-generation banker, the grandson of the founder of the bank in Arcadia, Kansas, a longtime banker himself in Arma, Kansas. And he's seen a lot of changes, in the banking business over that time, and changes in the currency that circulated as well.
The museum will feature more special presentations throughout the year. The line grew outside of Carthage, Missouri Memorial Hall for the 5th inaugural 4-state record show. Around 30 music dealers set up tailors to sell vinyls, cassette tapes, CDs, and more. Music lovers get a chance to grow their collections and win door prizes while they shop around.
Vinyl's been growing in popularity for the last 10 to 12 years. The community really pulls together. Just having the physical, tangible thing in your hand and ownership of it. Music sounds better. It supersedes streaming by a long shot.
This event is held twice a year, and the next show is July 29th at Carthage Memorial Hall. Metropolitan Weddings host a bridal show at Downstream Casino Resort in Quapaw, Oklahoma, with vendors for all the couple's wedding needs and free samples of food and dessert. All proceeds from the event are going to the Ronald McDonald House of the 4 States.
My son was born in Joplin Mercy Ronald McDonald House, and it meant the world to me knowing that a venue like this here at Downstream Casino will be able to give back to something that gave me so much.
On top of $1,000 in prizes, tons of giveaways. There was a fashion show, bounce house, and plenty of photo opportunities. Well, it's time for nominations for the 4 States Finest, our 2023 Viewers' Choice Awards for KOAM News Now. You can go to KOAMnewsnow.com/finest and nominate your favorite businesses. You can submit a nominee for any of several categories, including health, fitness, shopping, restaurants, and more. You help choose the finest, and each week, one viewer will be randomly chosen to win $100.
Not a bad deal, so make sure you get out there and you do start choosing the 4 States Finest.
That's right. Well, this morning we're discussing who is the greatest basketball player of all time.
Well, there's been some debate over whether he's the greatest of all time on the court, but there's no debate that he's the GOAT when it comes to granting wishes. On top of the $10 million donation, Michael Jordan has granted hundreds of wishes during the last 3 decades.
14 years ago, Elk Grove native Donovan Russell was battling eye cancer. His wish? To meet the GOAT himself, Michael Jordan. Russell found strength in Jordan's generosity, and not long after having his own wish granted, Russell decided he wanted to be like Mike when it came to giving back.
And that brings us to our question for you this morning. In your opinion, who is the greatest basketball player of all time? So far, 58% of you say Michael Jordan, 16% say Larry Bird, 11% for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 5% for LeBron James and Shaquille O'Neal, as well as the other category. You still have time to vote, so make sure you do through our website, through the app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
Our morning show says Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
All right.
I would agree.
I tend to agree too. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. Twitter might have been the first, but social media rival Meta jumps on board, charging a fee for verified accounts.
Plus, we've got a very spring-like day ahead of us. It's going to be wonderful, but changes are on the way. We'll tell you all about them.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, Meta is introducing verified accounts for a fee. The parent company of Facebook and Instagram will first test the new service in New Zealand and Australia before rolling it out to other countries. Badges will cost $11.99 a month on the web and $14.99 on Apple and Android operating systems. The payment also covers extra protection against account impersonation. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg announced the move, which is aimed at influencers and those who use social media for their business. Twitter was the first to start charging to verified accounts. Dodge is recalling more than 300,000 Ram trucks in the U.S. because of a potential fire hazard. Drivers are warned not to park the vehicles inside. Dodge says it knows of at least 6 fires that may be related to the problem, but also says the risk is minimal. And Ant-Man crawled to the top of the box office this weekend. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania raked in $104 million in domestic ticket sales, easily the largest movie opening of the year. 30 more big film releases are planned in 2023. Well, thousands of gyms across the country are shut down during the pandemic. Many for good. And as Michael George shows us, fitness centers are now making a comeback.
Joe Morello almost never misses a morning workout. When the pandemic began and gyms shut down, he, like many others, started to exercise at home. But it just wasn't the same.
It gets stale. You start to realize that you're nowhere near where you were from a fitness perspective pre-pandemic.
Gyms were among the hardest hit businesses during the pandemic. A quarter of fitness centers shut down completely. It was especially tough on smaller gyms, like the Body Blueprint in Pelham, New York.
We lost a good chunk of our business, about 80% of our people.
General Manager Tommy Pomatico says now, finally, he's seeing gym members return and a surge of new customers.
People are really understanding that without health, you don't really have anything, right? And so now people are prioritizing it.
Foot traffic in gyms is up 40% compared to 2 years ago, according to retail tracking website Placer.ai. But it's still not quite back up to pre-pandemic levels.
For Morello, there's something he gets here that he can't get working out at home.
It's the community feel. To me, working out at home has its benefits, but it doesn't push you the way seeing someone else that's doing the same workout that might be pushing a little bit harder than you. It kind of drives you, it fuels you.
And it's been just the fuel America's gyms needed to get back in shape. Michael George, CBS News, Pelham, New York.
Industry groups say more than 1.5 million fitness jobs were lost during the pandemic. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Now we've got ourselves a cool but decent start for us on Monday. Clouds are going to increase, temperatures will increase, and we're also watching some changes in our weather as we head into the middle of the week, and we'll break that all down coming up. But first, it's Monday, and we get it. You know, they're just not all that fantastic, but we've got just the thing to make your Monday better. Birthdays and anniversaries. But before we get to celebrating, let's take a trip out to New York City for a peek at what's coming up on CBS Mornings.
I'm Tony Nicopol. Coming up on CBS Mornings, Senator Bernie Sanders will join us to talk about his new book and these turbulent political times, one way to put it. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
Time for some Monday birthdays across the area, and we are beginning in Webb City with Leighton Bickett. celebrating birthday number 5. Happy birthday, Layton.
All right, and Brennan Smith is 7 strong this year in Chanute, Kansas. Happy birthday, Brennan.
Also 7 strong, a pair of triplets, Stella, Axel, and Ava Roberts, celebrating number 7. Happy birthday to the 3 of you.
All right, hope you have a fun time. Trevor Doss, turning 9 years old this year. That would be the boy, not the cat in the front. Trevor is very happy to be turning 9 with love from Mom, Dad, and your sisters.
We've got Charlie Insminger celebrating number 9 in Moran as well. Happy birthday, Charlie.
In Oswego, Kansas, Tatum Johnston turning 10 years old this year.
We've got Owen Roberts celebrating Sweet 16 in Columbus. Happy birthday, Owen.
In Frontenac, Lane Sullivan, welcome to adulthood. Lane is now 18 years old.
And we've got Harmony Conduff celebrating number 23. Happy birthday, Harmony.
All right. Bryce Commons, happy birthday, Bryce. I hope you have a wonderful day today and get to do something fun. Bryce is now 27 in Pittsburgh.
And we've got Amy Bartley in Pittsburgh as well, celebrating number 50. Happy birthday, Amy.
And Travis Shelton, happy birthday to you. Turning the big 5-0 up in Fort Scott.
We've got Carol Erickson celebrating birthday number 63 in Moran. Happy birthday, Carol.
In St. Paul, Terry Bourne celebrating birthday number 72.
And over in Columbus, Corky Zom celebrating birthday number 81. Happy birthday, Corky.
In Chanute, Norma Crabtree celebrating birthday number 95 this year. Hope it's a great one.
And we've got Mila Yeager celebrating in Columbus. Happy birthday, Mila.
Happy birthday, Mila. And Marilia Brumbach in Columbus. Happy birthday to you.
And we've got Janet Humble celebrating in Scammon.
And happy birthday love coming from Jessica, Dustin, all your brothers and sisters, Aunt Jenny and her crew, going out to Chris Vaughn, who's now 15.
And we've got Trini and Lorraine Isusi celebrating their 68th wedding anniversary in Humboldt. Happy anniversary to the Isusis. And we want to continue to celebrate, and there's a really easy way to do that, isn't there, Tanya?
That's right. All you have to do is send those birthday emails to us with your picture and all of the information to birthdays with an S at KOAMnewsnow.com.
And of course, while you're on our website, make sure you take time to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. You get special deals from local businesses. You also get a birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. So head over to the KOAMnewsnow.com website and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today. All right. Here's what we've got for us today. We're starting the day with clear skies. You can see on the MoDOT camera 30-second and range line, we're looking pretty good. A little bit on the chilly side, but not bad otherwise. Clouds starting to roll in. They will continue to do so as the morning goes on. 38 in Joplin right now. And we've got, again, a cool start for most of us today. 36 the 8th Center, 37 Neodesha, Chanute, Iola, Parsons, and Chautauqua. 36 Miami, 43 Grove, 41 Neosho, 37 Carthage, 35 in Lamar, 36 in Nevada as we start this Monday. But don't worry, it's going to continue to warm up. Now we'll see the clouds increase as we go through the morning, but as those increase, the temperatures go up as well. Check it out, up to 56 degrees by 11 this morning. Not bad at all. We're looking at highs today, pushing the lower to mid-60s, right around 64 for Joplin. And again, mostly cloudy skies throughout the day. We'll see a few peaks of sunshine out there, but the winds are going to be calm, and that's going to be nice because this is the last day that they're going to be calm for the next few days. As we head into this evening, we maintain mostly cloudy skies. We're going to drop down to 50 by 10 o'clock with an ultimate overnight low of about 40 degrees. So as we head into tomorrow morning, winds start to pick up. The gusts not too bad out of the northeast, but they're pushing upwards of about 20 miles an hour. However, as our Tuesday progresses, those winds begin to shift out of the south-southeast, and we'll start to see gusts pushing anywhere from 20, 25, maybe even upwards of 30 miles an hour by tomorrow afternoon and evening. And as we go into the overnight, winds shifting out of the south, and those gusts now pushing upwards of 40, 45 miles an hour for some of us. So a very breezy night ahead of us, and it's going to get windier yet. We head into Wednesday early morning. The winds continue to shift. Now they're coming out of the south-southwest, and we're looking at the gusts still in that 40 to 45 45-mile-an-hour range. Now, we'll get a brief break for a few of us in southeast Kansas, but everybody else still looking at wind gusts upwards of 40. And after that brief break Wednesday afternoon, we go into late Wednesday night and into early Thursday morning. Those gusts return, that 30 to 40-mile-an-hour range, maybe even higher for some of us out there. So do be aware of that. And it's not until Thursday afternoon that the winds shift out of the northwest and start to calm down a bit. And that's ahead of our next weather maker. We go through today, again, mostly cloudy, pretty decent day otherwise. We head into tomorrow, the winds begin to increase. We maintain mostly cloudy skies, but the temperatures stay warm. And as we head into early Wednesday morning, say about 4 or 5 o'clock, we'll start to see some scattered showers, maybe even a few thunderstorms out there. And we'll see more widespread shower and thunderstorm activity as we head into late Wednesday morning and into the early afternoon hours. And some of those showers and thunderstorms holding on as we head into Wednesday evening as well across the area. But as you can see, we're still staying fairly mild on Wednesday. It's not until late Wednesday that temperatures will begin to drop into early Thursday morning. Thankfully, not quite down to 2 or 15 like they're going to see in Goodland and Dodge City, but it's still going to get pretty darn chilly as we head into Thursday. So let's take a look at how chilly it's going to be. 63 tomorrow, so not bad. 68 Wednesday, then we get down to 34 by Thursday morning. 48 Thursday, down to 21 Thursday night, 44 on Friday. As we head into the weekend, our temperatures start to increase again, but we see additional rain chances Saturday evening into Sunday. And by the way, that 21 is the coldest temperature we're going to have for a while. We head into next week, the winds begin to increase. We'll see some partly to mostly cloudy days, but check out those temperatures as we start to return back to the upper 50s and lower 60s by the middle of next week. We're going to be back with a lot more right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Firefighters battled an early morning blaze in Carthage, Missouri. The fire was around 1:30 a.m. Saturday morning at 410 Cedar Street. First report, there were flames and smoke from the second floor of a wood-framed house, and just minutes later, the second floor became fully engulfed in flames. Authorities blocked area of roads to contain the fire. No one was hurt in the fire, and all residents made it out. No word yet on how many people were affected. City of Pittsburgh is receiving a grant. The up to $16,000 grant will go towards supporting the surveying of historic downtown buildings. Survey aims to collect and gather information about the buildings and how they were used and who owned them. It can be useful for planning things such as disasters and future development. Some KCU Joplin students are giving back to the community. Students from the school's Christian Medical and Dental Association volunteered at the Ronald McDonald House and the 4 states. Of the 4 states, some helped prepare and serve meals to families, and others cleaned up around the house as part of the Healthy House projects. Joplin is getting a brand new movie theater that'll offer a lot more than movies. B&B Theaters announced it's bringing a new location to the city. The nation's largest privately held theater chain says it will construct a luxury 8-screen cinema at the southeast corner of 32nd Street and Hammonds Boulevard. The new location will feature laser projection, heated leather recliners, a bar and grill, and an arcade. No word yet on when construction is expected to be complete. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And we've got a pretty decent day shaping up for us. We'll have mostly cloudy skies this afternoon, a few peaks of the sun, highs in the lower to mid 60s across the area. As we head into this evening, it's a slow cool down, back down to 50 by 10 o'clock, looking at an overnight low of 40. Winds really start to pick up as we head into Tuesday, Wednesday, and into Thursday. 63 tomorrow, 68 Wednesday with some thunderstorm chances, down to 48 Thursday, 44 Friday, and then temperatures increase this upcoming weekend with some rain chances increasing as well.
Coming up today at noon, we're making presidential peanut muffins in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Ahead, how the most advanced radar NASA has ever built is helping to expand our knowledge of how climate change is impacting our planet. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, you know what sounds good? Chili.
It does sound pretty good.
Yeah, well, we've got Lily Moore stepping in the studio to tell us all about a chili cook-off to benefit Vita Nova Village in Joplin.
Plus, if you're ready to take that walk down the aisle, KOAM's Carrie Worthen takes us to a bridal show in Oklahoma that's great for the bride, the groom, and the Ronald McDonald House.
There you go.
Explain. But that's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.